What's up, guys? How are you? Welcome into a Saturday morning edition of the Daily Juice podcast with me, Matt Perrault. How are you? Here for a very interesting Saturday on BettingPros.com, always being brought to you by BetMGM. They offer $10 to win $150 on any event. That's a promo code of Juice150 at BetMGM or BetMGM.com. Great day to use it because it's a crazy day. This is going to be a funky and wacko and wild Saturday. We've got college basketball, which I'm not really all that interested in. Maybe later in the day, maybe as we head towards the rest of the day, potentially. But since it's Saturday, Sunday, Monday, it's our last 3-day hurrah for football, really, in terms of having college and pro over a 3-day stretch. Monday being the championship game. We have 2 NFL games today. We've got a bunch coming up on Sunday. You guys know I'm already involved with the Raiders at +3 for that. So we've got that one bet going already. I'll have other plays that I'm eyeballing coming up for tomorrow, but you got to wait and see if any last-minute cancellations, last-minute COVID issues, whatever may pop up. The player props, I've never really seen a market like this on player props. It is unbelievable. I'm sitting here. The game will kick off. Denver kicks off here in about 12 hours or so, maybe a little more, 13 hours. And that's the only game with player props up. There's nothing for Dallas and Philadelphia from a player prop perspective, anywhere really that I can find. So here at the time of taping, we've got Denver and we've got Kansas City. And then we might have to add in, we probably are going to have to add in here on the Discord channel. So here's where I'm at. I got one play for us on KC and Denver. I've got 2 player props for this game for KC and for Denver. And then I'll probably have 2 player props coming up here for the Cowboys. There are so many COVID problems for the Eagles. That's why the books are kind of holding out, seeing who actually is going to be in this game for Philadelphia. So it's difficult to say, like, yes, this is where we are with the Eagles or who's going to get what carries. You know, there's a lot of people eyeballing the running backs, potentially from scoring opportunities. So it's just not your typical Saturday. But let's talk about the side here for Kansas City and Denver. It's a full unit play for me. And let's talk about the fact that this is probably the last game for Drew Lock. Now, some people in Denver believe that Drew Lock will have a second chance somewhere else, and he might actually justify the second-round pick that the Broncos used with him, and that the Broncos have ruined him. Vic Fangio has ruined him. I don't entirely agree with that. I don't entirely disagree with that either, but he's not a good quarterback, okay? Drew Lock has been bad. This number is 10.5. For some reason, the number's coming down. It was 11. Now it's 10.5. I mean, when you look at the injury report, the Broncos are going to be without 3 of their starting cornerbacks. Darby, Hairston, and Surtain are all out, okay? Surtain's on IR, Hairston's on IR, Darby's on IR, okay? They're not playing in this game against the KC Chiefs, who are playing in a game that matters. Now, most likely KC is going to be the 2 seed, but they got to win this game to guarantee themselves the 2 seed. They play first, okay? They can't just mail it in and say, if we lose, we're fine. They got to win this game. They have to play, and they have to try, okay? So this is, not a game they can mail in. The number is 10.5. You tell me how many points the Broncos are going to score. Team total is 16.5, okay? I may come in on the under for that if I can't find any props that I like for the Dallas game. The other half a unit bet I may make is the team total under 16.5 for the Broncos, because I don't know how they score. I know last week the Bengals went up and down the field and did a number on that secondary for the Chiefs. But this is a divisional game. This is not Joe Burrow, okay? This is Drew Lock playing quarterback here for the Denver Broncos. This is a game that doesn't matter much for Denver. It's a rivalry game, so clearly they would like to win the game, and they're not going to mail it in and just, fly up the white, put up the white flag. But how many points do you think they score? Team total for the Chiefs is 27.5. That might be a decent side as well to kind of jump in if you want to go with that. So there are a bunch of different angles you can play on this, but the number is 10.5. Let's just start with 28 points for the KC Chiefs. How many points is Denver going to score? 10? Okay. The number is 10.5. All we need them to do is KC scores 30 and they're covering, right? KC's going to score 30 points in this game. It's kind of a foregone conclusion that they're going to score that many points. And I mean, this is one of those games where I think it gets really, really ugly. They won the first matchup 22-9. Okay. I think it's a 28-10 type game. I think the under might be a decent play in this. Okay. Another side is, Denver team total under, but also the game under might also be a decent thing to look at. Denver at home this year, straight up, They're 4-4 straight up here. On the road, KC is 4-3 straight up. This number, I mean, you might go, Matt, 10.5 points is a lot of points. Yeah, but double-digit spreads in the NFL, it's amazing. The favorites have been covering this number at about an 80% clip this year. It's incredible. Look at how many double-digit spreads have gotten home and actually won the game outright and covered here. So 8-8 KC against the number. They're 4-1 against the spread, though, in the division. Denver is 1-4 against the spread against the division. They are 1-4 over their last 5, and they're 4-4 against the number at home. KC is 4-3 against the number on the road. Before they got into that, Cincinnati game where they could have covered, they were laying 3.5. They lost the game outright by 3, but they had covered for 6 straight games. So I think last week was a little bit of an anomaly. Different type of team you're playing, not in the division, late in the year. And you're taking on a Denver team that has not covered. They have covered once in the last 4 games when they beat Detroit. But against Kansas City, 8.5-point dogs, lost by 13. Against Cincinnati, 3-point favorites. They lost outright by 5. Against the Raiders here in Vegas, laying 1. They lost by 4. And then the Chargers catching 8 points from a Charger perspective, and they lost by 21 points in that game. So this is a team not playing for much with a bad quarterback, a lot of numbers going against them. Secondary not going to be there, banged up and injured and on the IR here. Don't think Denver can score. I think Casey's defense holds them down. Again, gave up 9 points in the first matchup. I'm going 10.5, laying it. Kansas City, 1 unit, minus 10.5 here against Denver on the road for the first game of the day. That game is kicking off at 4:30 Eastern time on Saturday afternoon Eastern. I have no idea what to do the second game. Okay, I have no idea who's playing, who's not. I don't know how you make bets on Dallas and Philadelphia. It's a wild, crazy game. I may bet in-game. There may be something I'm going to add. There may be a player prop or two that I look to get into on this. But, I mean, the only props that are out right now are touchdown scores. And, I guess you can lay an Ezekiel Elliott at even money or a Jalen Hurts at plus 150 if you want. But I'm just not into it right now. I'm not jumping up and down about anything to do with this Dallas and Eagles game, and why risk it? Why force it if you don't have to force it? So the next 2 bets are player props on the KC game. Let's talk about that injured secondary and banged up. Tyreek Hill's receiving yardage is only 63.5 yards. Okay. It feels like Hill is going to have a monster game here. Okay. So the last 2 games, Hill has had 40 yards and 19 yards. It's been sort of weird. Against the Broncos, he only had 22 yards receiving. It's been a weird run. He's been 22, 76, 148, 19, and 40 over his last 5 games. But before that, he went 77, he went 83, then 37, then 94. This feels like to me that Tyreek Hill is going to have a couple of big games, a couple of big catches. 40 yards, 50 yards, some big play for Tyreek Hill to go off. There's a question about how long will these guys play? And frankly, look, if we get news that they're going to sit Hill down for whatever reason, the bet will void. And as long as he doesn't play, the bet will void. But for a quarter unit, I'm going over 63.5 receiving yards for Tyreek Hill. I just think they aren't going to be able to guard him. You can't guard this guy with starting cornerbacks. You're going to guard him with backup cornerbacks. It's only a quarter unit bet. I'm comfortable laying it here. Tyreek Hill over 63.5 receiving yards. The prop bet cheat sheet likes this as well. It's the 3rd best option for this game. I don't trust Courtland Sutton to go over 29.5, and I'm not betting under on Drew Lock passing props because I think they're going to be down big, and the Chiefs may play prevent defense, and Lock may rack up 200 yards passing, and then we're dead. So I'm not looking to get involved with that. But Tyreek Hill, 63.5. The prop bet cheat sheet is projecting 82.5 yards receiving for Tyreek Hill. I can see it easily, even though the numbers haven't been great. 6 catches, 40 yards. 6.7 average is not like Tyreek Hill. He's normally 19, 11, 12.3, 9.5. That's more like it, okay? So at 63.5, we need, 6 catches, averaging somewhere around 8 to 10 yards per catch for Tyreek Hill. And then we should get there over 63.5 receiving yards for Tyreek Hill for a quarter unit. And the other play, the other quarter unit that I'm going to jump in here, I think Travis Kelce gets a touchdown. I think in the red zone, he's becoming a big weapon. He had 2 touchdown catches against the Chargers. He had 1 against the Bengals. 10 catches for $191 against the Chargers. Monster game. 5 catches for 25 yards last week against the Bengals. Had a touchdown in that game as well. The Raiders game was 3 for 27. Broncos 3 for 27. Cowboys 5 for 74. So only his receiving yardage is 62.5. He's only gone over that 2 times in the last 5 for Travis Kelce. So, I think he's becoming a bigger weapon in the red zone. And I think in the red zone, that's when the Chiefs or the Broncos will have a tough time guarding him with all those injured cornerbacks. And they're going to guard the wide receivers. That's where Kelce gets open for a touchdown. You can shop around to find what type of value you're going to get on this from a touchdown scoring perspective for Travis Kelce. And I think that there's an opportunity maybe to get even money. But for the most part, I think you're going to wind up getting somewhere around minus 105, somewhere in that range. I got minus 115 on this at DraftKings right now at the time of taping for Travis Kelce. Anytime touchdown. I'm going to go ahead and lay it here. I think Kelce gets a receiving touchdown, and I think it's an opportunity to lay a little juice, quarter unit. It's not horrible. Hopefully, you shop around, you find a better number for this because it's definitely available at different books. While I'm sitting here, I saw it at FanDuel because you guys maybe have access to that from an anytime touchdown perspective. That might be good to jump in here. With Travis Kelce, but there are no props for the late game on Travis Kelce. Kelce, it's minus 130, so it's worse at FanDuel, but minus 115 at DraftKings. Anytime touchdown, quarter unit, Travis Kelce. All right, so just 3 plays here on Denver and Kansas City for us. The late game Discord channel, bettingpros.com/chat to get into it, or the link is underneath me here on YouTube to go ahead and get in. We'll do that. I'll be in there for a bit. We will have the live stream on Sunday with Dan Harris and I, so we'll have a lot more player prop conversations. The whole day basically is going to be a player prop conversation about the books. Just simply are not willing to put up props right now on these games, and it's frustrating. Touchdown scoring props are up for Dallas and Philly, but that's it. And then a limited menu is up for props for the early game with Kansas City and Denver. We're playing 1 unit, KC minus 10.5. I don't mind a play on the under, but I'm not going to touch that. Over 63.5 receiving yards, Travis Kelce for a quarter unit, and anytime touchdown at minus 150. Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill over 63.5 receiving, and anytime touchdown, Travis Kelce at minus 115 for a quarter unit. My name is Matt Perrault. Follow me on Twitter at SportsTalkMatt. More in the Discord channel coming up later in the day today for a very special NFL Saturday here for the Daily Juice podcast. Always being brought to you by BetMGM.